Picture yourself as Brian Chesky, the founder of Airbnb, back in 2011. You've poured your heart and soul into building this startup from the ground up, along with your pals Joe and Nathan. It hasn't been easy. Rejection after rejection from investors, sleepless nights, and endless hustle. But just when things start looking up, a dark cloud looms on the horizon. Andrew Mason, the CEO of Groupon, delivers a chilling message. Joe and Nathan had already braved countless hurdles to bring Airbnb to life, a website where folks could rent out their spare rooms or homes. But now, trouble was knocking at their door, and it went by the name of Wimdu. Wimdu wasn't just any competitor. They started in March 2011 and quickly hired a massive 400 workers and set up 20 offices all over Europe. They had received a whopping $90 million investment, spreading like wildfire across Europe. In the blink of an eye, they had offices sprouting up like mushrooms across Europe. Meanwhile, Airbnb, though smaller, only had $7 million in funding, 40 employees, and one office in San Francisco. But the real problem is that Wimdu's website and business model are a complete copy of Airbnb's. The people behind Wimdu, the Samwer brothers, are no strangers to this game. They've made a fortune by cloning American companies and making them their own. From eBay to YouTube to Facebook, they've done it all. And now, they've set their sights on Airbnb. So who are the Samwer brothers? Origins. In 1970, Mark, the oldest of the brothers, was born. 2 years later, Oliver came along, followed by Alexander a year after that. Their father, Sigmar Jürgen Samwer, was a well-known lawyer in Cologne. He had famous clients like literature, Nobel Prize winner Heinrich Böll and Karl Carstens, who later became the president of Germany. Oliver's great-grandfather founded a company that eventually became the Gothaer Group, an insurance giant, making over $4.5 billion in 2020. His great-great-grandfather even served as Germany's foreign minister. So, they were raised in a rich and intellectually vibrant setting. From a young age, the brothers were drawn to entrepreneurship, but they weren't fixated on coming up with ideas right away. Mark once said, "Our problem was we wanted to be entrepreneurs first, then had to find an idea." Oliver enrolled at WHU's Otto Beisheim School of Management in 1994, and a year later, he visited Silicon Valley. That trip opened his eyes to the world of entrepreneurship. Orlando. The brothers' cloning strategy, which became their trademark, began with the cloning of eBay. In 1998, Mark Samwer observed the widespread use of eBay among his colleagues and saw an opportunity to replicate its success in Germany. After discussing the idea with his brothers, they were convinced that a German version of eBay could thrive. The brothers claimed they attempted to pitch the idea to eBay itself, but their emails went unanswered. Undeterred, they returned to Germany and enlisted the help of 3 friends to create their online auction platform. A month later, Orlando was launched. To kickstart the business, the Samwers sold some of their childhood toys, including a train set, roller skates, and old coins. Orlando quickly gained traction, catching the attention of eBay. Within just 100 days, the American company acquired the German startup for $43 million. However, Ole Samwer later admitted it was the biggest mistake of my career. Following the acquisition, Oliver Samwer remained at eBay for a period, serving as a managing director overseeing operations in the German-speaking market. Jamba. Following his tenure at eBay, Oliver Samwer, along with his brothers, established the ringtone provider Jamba in 2000. Jamba's business model was copied from VeriSign. In 2004, just 4 years later, VeriSign acquired Jamba for a whopping $273 million. Oliver Samwer remained a key member of Jamba's executive team until the end of 2005. Rocket Internet. The Samwer brothers weren't just observers of startups from afar, they became founders themselves by launching the startup studio Rocket Internet in 2007. Originally named JC, Rocket Internet allowed the brothers to not only replicate existing ideas, but also to incubate their own. While they continued to mimic successful U.S. models, Rocket also crafted its innovative concepts tailored to emerging markets. Through Rocket, the brothers had the resources to assemble teams of eager business developers and programmers, enabling them to rapidly scale up startups. At Rocket, speed trumped perfection, and they prioritized hiring quick learners over seasoned experts. Their motto was growth at any cost. Inverted VC. Rocket Internet's business model closely resembles that of venture capital firms in terms of taking ownership stakes in startups with hopes of their value increasing over time. However, Rocket's approach, described by former founder Marek Smyslowski as inverted VC, differs significantly from traditional venture capital. Unlike traditional VCs, who search for founders with existing ideas, Rocket internally identifies promising concepts and then assigns teams to execute them, operating more like a consulting firm. This proactive approach sets Rocket apart, as traditional VC firms are reactive, relying on deals that come their way. Moreover, Rocket takes a hands-on approach, with founders essentially serving as employees and major decisions being made from the top down. This contrasts with traditional VC, where firms typically provide passive capital and strive to be as founder-friendly as possible. More, the Samwer brothers invested in a Facebook clone called StudiVZ, which mimicked Facebook's design with a red theme instead of blue. It quickly gained popularity in German-speaking regions and was sold for $100 million in 2007. Although Facebook later sued StudiVZ for copying their platform, the Samwer brothers had already profited and moved on. Similarly, CityDeal, backed by Rocket Internet, the incubator founded by the Samwer brothers, replicated Groupon's model. Within just 6 months, CityDeal became a dominant player in Europe. Groupon eventually acquired CityDeal for $170 million, a mere 5 months after its launch.